So this is yet another entry in the long storied Predator franchise, which originally started in 1987, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and a bunch of other macho men. In this entry, we go back in time. We don't travel back in time, but we're back in time in the 16th, 17th century in North America, and we meet this native tribe of Comanches. We meet our main character named Naru, played by Amber Midthunder, who is the main character, and she is someone who she can fight alongside the boys, but she's not really accepted as a warrior, and she also has some other skills in medicine. And one day they're out fighting, and there's something in the woods that they think it's a bear, they think it's a mountain lion, but she has seen it and she knows better. She said, no, there's something out there that killed the bear, that killed the lion, and it is, of course, the titular predator of the series. So she must go on a quest to fight this thing, survive, defend her village, and also defend it from the encroaching Europeans, which are also in this movie. And so that's our setup. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good action, a big surprise, I think, in a lot of ways. Zach, what'd you think?
Prey retreads, I think, everything cool that works about the first Predator movie in a different setting with a different set of characters that I think is almost just as exciting as the original. It's very good. I like the flip on the format. I wish it'd come to theaters and that it had been a little bit longer and a little bit grander in scale because it's pretty good. It's got good pacing, keeps you interested. I didn't have my phone out much at all watching this movie. I was really tuned into what was going on. I say that, hold on, quick pro. I don't often have my phone out during movies, but when you're watching a movie at home, often you can feel like, you can take it easy a little bit. You can do laundry and watch this movie. And this one was not that way. Like, Prey is doing something different. I'm surprised at how good it was. It is a David and Goliath sort of story with just enough difference from the original to make it exciting again. I like Prey a lot. I'm excited to talk about it. Where do you want to jump in?
Well, why don't we jump in with our cast? So one of the interesting things is this is an all indigenous cast, of course, except the Europeans. But and they think it's the first movie to be entirely dubbed in Comanche, which is really that's a really important thing for representation. Some other important characters are Tabe, which is her brother, played by a person named Dakota Beavers. Puhi. I'm trying to think of it. These are kind of the main other indigenous people in the film, but they all do just a really good job. The makeup is amazing. Like, they're kind of unrecognizable because they all have kind of warrior paint on during a lot of this. The only thing that kind of takes me out is that they switch they speak some Comanche, but they also speak like perfect English, and kind of took me out of it. I wish they had either done it all in Comanche or maybe had accents or something, but still their performances are really good. Again, Amber Midthunder is kind of has to hold up the movie mostly on her own through her action, and she's got to do a lot of action. She's got to work with the ensemble cast. She's got to fight the Predator and the Europeans. A lot going on, but it's really fun, and it feels so authentic. Like, they shot out in the woods. They went outside.
Yes.
You're not on a green screen stage.
Yeah, I'm mentioning Tomb Raider at the beginning of the episode is fitting because watching this movie reminded me of how I felt when I watched Tomb Raider, because a lot of Tomb Raider is supposed to be on this like island off the Atlantic, like out in the middle of nowhere. It's like south of Africa or something, and like it feels like you're on a green screen set the whole time. Like it barely ever feels like you're actually out in the woods. When you are, it's like you shot this behind the studio, didn't you? You just wheeled the cameras out to the parking lot. You're like, yeah, the actors stand on that hill. This is like you actually went out to freaking Montana. Like, it feels like you got giant IMAX lenses and you shot these huge landscapes with big open skies, like, and you really brought in the feeling of nature to these characters who are obviously so dedicated to it. Like, this tribe feels really fantastic. And you're absolutely right. The completely normal English is really distracting. I made it, I think, 6 minutes into this movie before I ducked out and went and found the Comanche dub, which is on Hulu. You got to search for it. You got to search Prey Comanche dub, but it's on there. It's a different viewing of the film, and it's the film dubbed entirely in Comanche. Much better. Like would recommend. It's the you know their mouths don't match the language, but it's like watching any other foreign language film, right? You just focus on the subtitles and move right past it. And a beautiful language for this film, by the way. I would recommend the Comanche dub. What I like about Prey, besides the fact that it's a lot like the original Predator, but in a different way, is that Prey follows the one seminal rule of any good horror movie. It totally works as a movie without the Predator. Our story of our young lead Naru. I'm gonna go with Naru. She is struggling to basically fit in at her tribe, and she wants to be a hunter. And her mom is like, "Why are you out there hunting? Like, we need women folk here to make medicine and make food. Like, that's what we're doing, right? You're a gatherer, not a hunter. Like, you should be here helping me take care of the chief and being a nice little, it's fine." And her brother, who's like star hunter of the tribe, is like, "Why are you out here? Like, you're just gonna get yourself hurt. You're never gonna be as good as me." There's a great scene where she's like, why don't you let me come out and prove myself? He's like, "You can't." And she's like, "Why?" Because I'm a girl. What? Because you don't think I'm tough? And he's like, "No, you literally can't, and you'll never be able to because you're bad." Like, and it's like really heartfelt and mean, and like it feels really like she's so dedicated to being able to prove herself, and she sees this vision in the sky, which she says is the Thunderbird, which really is Predator's ship. And it gives her like all of this purpose to go out in the woods on her own and find this thing and like have her trial, as they call it, and prove herself. And then it turns out the thing she finds is the Predator. That's what makes this movie work. Like, the Predator is almost secondary. She could be hunting like a crazy mountain lion and it would still be a pretty good movie. Like, the fact that the Predator is the thing, like, just adds a layer to it. And that's what the original Predator does. Like, these guys are out in the woods in Vietnam trying to save somebody, and then the Predator shows up. Like, there's a whole plot. Alien does this really well. Space Truckers, The Thing does this really well. Like, it's a really clever bit of scripting, like, to make the movie work on its own as an independent film without the Predator. And that makes us better set up for our characters to become the prey, which is good stuff. I do want to talk about like the Predator in this movie, because I have seen a few of those Predator movies. But Andy, I don't know, you want to jump in there? What do you think of next?
Yeah, so one of the things that the movie does really well is we don't see the Predator for quite a long time, and we slowly see more and more. It's the Jaws thing, you slowly see more and more of the monster, and until you finally, in like halfway through or towards the third act, you finally get a really good glimpse of it. He's got this really cool bone helmet thing that's I think a pretty cool addition, and it's it's the Predator. It kills everything. You can't kill it, you can't outsmart it, you can't outfight it.
Right.
But somehow that's what always happens in these movies. So you get a lot of slaughter and gore on your way to fighting this thing.
Yeah, Predator is a cool movie monster because it is fundamentally almost like a human hunter, but more advanced. Moves, is bipedal and has a ton of like wild gadgets that will mess up anything that gets in its path. And that's what makes the Predator cool, right? Lots of gadgets. It's got a net that it shoots, and when it lands on something, it screws in the netting and just disintegrates whatever's in it. It's got laser beam missile stuff. It's got instant camo. It's got a shield that can bounce anything back. Like, all kinds of stuff coming out of the Predator, right? Glowing green blood. Like, there's lots of cool things that are happening with the Predator. And this is all important because it pits our characters who have no idea of any technology against something that is like truly unknown. I love the way the characters call it like the monster. Like, they don't really know what it is, right? We have an idea. It's the Predator, of course, but I do wish it had been a little bit more shrouded in mystery. I know it's a Predator movie, right? Like, everybody watching it, everybody clicks on the thumbnail is going to know it's a Predator movie. Like, I got it, but it does. I don't know. One of the things I really liked about the original Predator was how crappy the effects are. those old camo effects do not look good nowadays. They look bad. But because they were limited in what they could do, they didn't show a lot. This one leans on CGI a bit more. It feels a little phony, but it's a straight streaming film, right? And like, you got to forgive it for that. If anything, I can forgive it for its runtime. This is like 100 minutes, nice and tight, baby. this movie gets in and gets out, and I love it. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Again, what I was saying before, the length of the film really helps it be more enjoyable, because at the end of the day, the Predator premise isn't super deep or complicated. So it's fun, but just for a while. You can't do it too long. And this movie is really efficient in, it's 100 minutes. So you're in, you're out, you're going through, the different story beats really well and smoothly. And it just makes it so much more enjoyable as opposed to again, something like Bullet Train or The Gray Man or these movies that are just like overly long. Because if you're going to have an action movie that's 2 hours long, you probably need to have a lot of downtime, to develop character and things like that. And if you don't, it just kind of drags. But this totally doesn't do that. It's very efficient and makes it very much more enjoyable.
Yeah, it works much more effectively than the previous Predator film, which was, I think, The Predator,
Yeah.
right? Or was that, yeah,
Bomb.
Predators was in 2010. Yeah, The Predator. Shane Black film. Shane Black, who was in the original Predator and has made great films like The Nice Guys, like total miss, total flop. My God,
That's part of the reason that this
really
didn't
bad.
actually get a theatrical release is if you look at the history of Predator films, only like two of them have been successful in theatrical releases. A lot of them have been bombs. So that was part of the decision for Disney to put this on Hulu. And I think that was a smart choice. And yeah, it would have been nice to see a theatrical release, but I mean, it's a great release for their streaming service.
Yeah, I praise a lot of fun. It's a tremendous release for like Native American cultures. Yeah, like a nearly entirely indigenous cast is huge, and they're good in it too. Amber Midthunder, Dakota Beaver's great. It's like this brother sister combo. Like they're both really heartfelt and thoughtful. Even in the dub, they're tremendous. Like yeah, it's a ton of fun. I really enjoyed Prey. I did go in a little overhyped, a little more than I should have been because I waited a few days to watch it, and early reviews were like very positive. People were like, "This is a sleeper. Like this is really good." It's okay. It is very good, but it's not. This movie's not going to blow out Best Picture or anything. It is a straight to streaming film, but like it's a straight to streaming film done well, and we see
Yep.
so many done poorly that it's really a nice change. One comes out that's like worth your time and is good, and I'm excited to say that Prey I think is both of those things. Any other thoughts or recommendations, Andy?
I think I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend Prey?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. It's a really well done Predator film, especially if you're a fan of the series. It's definitely going to be a highlight. And if you're new to it, I think you're going to enjoy it as well. It has, it's a landmark for representation. You have a female protagonist. It's the first time the series has ever had a female protagonist. It's a lot of fun. It's like I said, they actually shot outside in the woods,
Yeah.
so that it's nice to have real sets and be outside and on green screen. I really enjoyed it. 100 minutes in and out. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. This movie's good. I think they should make the next Predator movie similar in this vein. Honestly, I don't know how far you can run on this gimmick of the same setting as the same idea as the first movie and this one, just in a different time. You could make one of these in feudal Japan and have a Predator show up. You could make one during the freaking Civil War if you wanted. Like you could do anything here, and it would probably work great. Like, so it's a simple formula. You make a movie that's already good, and then you drop Predator in the middle of it, and there you go. You got something. And I think Prey does it great. Dan Trachtenberg has done a tremendous job here. Yeah, go watch Prey. Worth your time. Already on streaming. If you got a Hulu, go check it out. I think Prey is good stuff.